going to talk to Mahima Kaul, Head of Public Policy APAC at Bumble, to really find out about safety initiatives in the entire ecosystem. Mahima, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Mahima, great to have you here. Let's start off. So what are some of the online dating trends we're seeing post the pandemic? Things changed dramatically, right?
One of the obvious answers is a platform like Bumble had the ability to do video chats even before the pandemic hit. And so those kind of features were used really heavily, right? Because people had to adopt to being able to speak to each other online and not in person. But there is also a shift in the way people approach dating, which is, I think, what you're more interested in. So, a term that we're crafting called the resetters. What we found actually is that now about 75% of our community on Bumble, they want to kind of reprioritize, who they're looking for, and they want to find partners who are more emotionally available. Another term, what we're calling explorer dating, is this is not to say that people are getting more serious or less serious, but they're open to exploring what their type is, which we saw a little bit even in the non-dating world, is people are looking to do more hobbies as hobby dates and acquiring more skills together. And that's a really nice interactive way of dating together while doing something interesting and new.
Mahima, that's really fascinating to know. But all this increased access also brings with it inherent issues like harassment, abuse, discrimination. What kind of statistics have you observed, and what steps does Bumble take to tackle these issues?
Now, for Bumble being, obviously a female-first brand, something that enables women and empowers women, safety has been a priority from day one. And so obviously, we make sure that we don't tolerate any hate, any aggression and bullying. And, in order to enable that, you need to have a couple of things in place. So 5 quick examples so that people understand what does it take to enable safety on the platform. The first starts with your community guidelines. They need to be, you need to set the standard of what kind of speech is allowed on the platform. So your community guidelines actually spells that out. Now, how does the average user then help Bumble enforce those community guidelines? So through your journey in the app, you have places where you can actually block users, or you can block and report users. You can tell Bumble something happened to me, or I've come across a profile of someone who I think you might want to review. The third thing that you can do for your community is you come up with resourcing. So you'll have a safety and wellness center, or the campaign that we are doing currently, you come up with these handbooks so that women are able to women and of course other community members are able to first identify, right, that I am actually undergoing abuse. This is something that's happening to me if they are not able to. And then they have redressal mechanisms about where to take it. One is on the app, but the other is maybe you want to go offline, you want to find the police. Then you come up with different, you look at the community you're catering to. So in India, I'll give an example, India specific example. We actually have the ability only in India that women can choose the first initial of their name in their profile. And they only need to give more information about themselves once they are comfortable and once they're willing to do so. So we have this AI-driven private detector, which actually does, come across potential lewd photos, and they actually blur it so women don't have to see those pictures.
So you're doing a lot, but yet you have an initiative called Bumble's Stand for Safety initiative. How does that fit into Bumble's broader efforts to raise awareness around digital safety?
See, Rajiv, you and I both know that online safety has been a topic for years, right? And the thing is that you always come back year after year and hear about people yet again tell you how unsafe the internet is, especially for women and minorities.
True.
Bumble's campaign, Stand for Safety, is back in its second year. We partnered with great institutions like the Center for Social Research and also Nyaya to produce a handbook that actually is very informative and is full of resources.
So Mahima, so much that you're doing, but what kind of resources are actually available to educate users about all this stuff? What are the legal rights in case of an untoward incident? What kind of support does Bumble offer victims of online abuse?
The education of users is something online which has been an evolution. If you look at the early days, Rajiv, even yourself, of social media apps and apps for interaction, it was relegated to either you're online or you're offline, right? And the user is either using the app or the user has been taken off the app. Slowly, there was an understanding that not everyone knows how to be online and what's the etiquette online. So you had educational bits and pieces. So the user is told you went wrong here, you violated a policy, and it's a chance to actually get educated. We have partnered with an NGO called Cheyenne, which is basically a survivor-led nonprofit. And they have a program called Bloom that Bumble is now partnering with. And this actually addresses gender-based violence. And how does it do that? It creates intersectional resources online. It's basically complementary trauma services for those who may have experienced sexual assault online or offline. So this is really a very comprehensive program that we put together for our community in order to enable them to help process something unfortunate, that may have happened to them, talking to experts about it.
Mahima, it was fantastic speaking with you. I'm so glad that Bumble seems to take this so seriously. You guys are actually walking the talk on digital safety.